this evening we shall discuss a short discourse from the Samyutta Nikaya, the connected discourses of the Buddha. The title of this discourse is a student or disciples. So this discourse, like a reader, the Buddha posed a reader or problems for us to solve. So the Buddha said, bhikkhus, including those who are striving diligently to be free from samsara, the cycle of birth and death. So the Buddha said, this holy life is lived without students and without teachers. So as you know, holy life means one who practices the Noble Eightfold Path, the middle way, or one live in accordance with the teachings of the Noble Eightfold Path, the middle path. So this holy life is lived without students and without teachers. A bhikkhu or anyone who has students and teachers dwells in suffering, not in comfort. By right, as long as one who has not yet attained enlightenment, one should have a teacher. Teacher, in other words, a wise friend to guide one in living a holy life. But yet the Buddha says, a bhikkhu or one who has students and teachers dwells in suffering, not in comfort. But a bhikkhu or one who has no students and no teachers dwell happily in comfort. So when we study this discourse, then you may understand how well is your practice. So what does it mean that one has students and teachers, and one who has students and teachers dwells in suffering, not in comfort? So the Buddha explained further, when a bhikkhu or one has seen a form with the eye. Form means various visible objects, a person or any kinds of visible objects. Then arise in him or her or evil, unwholesome states, memories and thoughts connected with the fetters. Fetters means samyojana in Pali. Sometimes Buddha explains mental defilements in terms of kilesa, or sometimes the Buddha explains the mental defilements in terms of samyojana fetters. So fetters like a shackles in the ancient times, the convicts was tied with shackles in the legs, in the hand, so the convicts could not run away. The convict had no freedom to move. So similarly, when one see a form, for example, an enemy, then arise in him or her evil unwholesome states. For example, anger, hatred, past memories arising. What were the things did by this enemy to me or to my loved ones? And thoughts connected with the factors. So there are 10 factors. I shall mention briefly. The 10 factors: wrong view, doubt, wrong grasping or adherence to rites and ceremony, sensual lust or sensual desires, aversions. Then there are these, the next 5, lust for form, lust for formless realms, then conceit, mana or restlessness, and ignorance. So there are these 10 factors. So when one is not free from these 10 factors, then one could not be free from the cycle of birth and death. One is not liberated. So when one see an enemy, then evil thoughts arising. These evil thoughts, or in other words, demeritorious thoughts arising. So the discourse say that when there are these evil mental states, memories and thoughts connected with the factors arise in him or her, then it is said that he or she has a student or has a disciple, or he or she live with the students or disciples, because those evil unwholesome states dwell within him or her. So when these unwholesome thoughts or demeritorious thoughts assail him or her, assail means attack him or her, or master him, or overpowering him or her, then it is said that one who has a teacher, or one who has teacher. So do you think these teachers will be kind to you, or will be very harsh to you? So when you are overpowered by unwholesome, evil, unwholesome mental states or thoughts, so do you think? So the sutta say that one who, then it say that one who is a teacher. So do you think these teachers will be kind to you, or will be harsh to you and causes suffering to you? So it is a very harsh teachers. So these teachers is very harsh, not kind to you, and you will teach you some lessons in life. So this style of teacher could be a better teachers than others, isn't it? You have to definitely you will learn a lesson from such a teachers. That's why sometimes we say suffering is a good teacher. It might wake you up. So similarly, when one has heard a sound with the ear, or when one has smelled an odor with the nose, or one has tasted a flavor with the tongue, or felt a contact, a tangible object with the body, or cognize a mental object with the mind, and so on. So when you, so in other words, when there are various sense objects, when there's a contact through these six sense doors, so if one is not mindful, then evil mental states, evil unwholesome states, memories and thoughts in relation to this sense object, and thoughts that arising with the fetters could dwell within oneself. So that's why the Buddha said one live with a student or these disciples. So in fact, one could have many students or disciples, and these students or disciples can become your teachers as well, especially the unwholesome thoughts or demeritorious thoughts overpowering oneself. So that's why the Buddha said one who has students and teachers dwells in suffering, not in comfort. Actually, this sutta is found in the Salayatana Samyutta, the connected discourses with the 12 sense bases, 6 internal and 6 external sense bases make up 12 sense bases. In fact, this is your world. When you're practicing mindfulness meditation again and again, and you gain experiences of Vipassana meditation, then you come to understand the teaching of Buddha better and better. Sometimes Buddha, in one of these courses of Salayatana Samyutta, the Buddha explains the meaning of the world. Sometimes when we talk about the world, you may think this earth is the world, or this physical world. So once there was a monk asked the Buddha, the world, in what way might that be the world, or the descriptions the world? So the Buddha explained when there's the I, where there's the I, where there are the forms, I consciousness, things to be cognized by I consciousness, this the world exists, or descriptions of the world. So similarly, the same line of thinking also applies to the other sense door. When there's the ear, there are sounds, then there's this hearing consciousness or ear consciousness, things to be heard by the ear consciousness. So that's where the world exists, or this is the descriptions of the world. So this is your world. So whether you live in a world full of happiness or full of suffering, it all depends on your effort to cultivate your mind or to develop your mind. So if you wish to live in a peaceful world, then you have to mindful of this world. You do not mindful of it, then you could be live in suffering in this world. So that's why it's important to be mindful of these six sense basis, or in other words, the six sense doors. It's because of unmindful, defilements can be arising. For example, in the teachings of dependent origination, dependent on feelings arising, craving. So it's because of unmindful, one could be craving with all six kinds of sense object, visible object, sound, odor or smell, taste, tangible objects, and mental objects. So you know the cause of arising of craving, then you must be very mindful of the cause. The Buddha always taught us to overcome the cause, to deal with the cause. When the cause is overcome, then one will solve the problem. When we could overcome the cause of suffering, then one would attain the cessation of suffering. So similarly, when you could mindful of the feeling well, then there's no arising of the craving for the sense object. So when there's no craving, then there's no arising of clinging, and so on. So one who has a student, one who has students and teachers dwells in suffering, not in comfort, because of factors in the mind. So how does a bhikkhu or one who has no students, no teacher, dwell happily in comfort? So if we wish to dwell happily in comfort, in those without students, without teachers, then you must be mindful. In other words, when one has seen a form with the eye, and there's no arising of evil, unwholesome states, or memories, thoughts, connected with the fetters. So when there's no evil mental states or demeritorious thoughts dwell within oneself, then they say that one dwells without student. So when there's no evil, unwholesome states or demeritorious thoughts, assail oneself or overpower oneself, then they say that one has no teachers. So only one who has attained enlightenment, then one lives without students, without teachers. So this holy life, when we talk about holy life, it's not only those who have renounced the world, those who live as householder can also live a holy life. In fact, our conducts, various conduct in life should be guided by this middle path, the Noble Eightfold Path. So this is the way, the way to overcome the factors, so that one is living without students, without teachers. So this course is very meaningful. You could know yourself, your progress in the practice. Especially when you come to mindful of this contact of the sense object with the sense doors. If one doesn't mindful or develop Noble Eightfold Path, then one could be overpowered by the factors or defilements. Then one will have students dwell in him or her. One will live with the teachers. So the teachers here is not kind to you. Actually, these teachers will teach you a lesson, because of unmindful. So in fact, in this world, all kinds of conflicts and war also begins with unmindfulness, not mindful. Whenever one is not mindful, the sense object could arouse factors of defilements such as greed or craving, or hatred, aversion, or in Pali it's known as dosa, or the mind is deluded by the sense objects. So it's because of defilements. These defilements can cause a person to commit all kinds of evil, or even to cause some degree of destructions to the world, or even destroy the world. That's why there's a Teacher's Day. There's a there's a teacher say that the danger is not the danger is not with the nuclear weapons. The most destructive weapons is when the mind is defiled by greed, hatred, and delusion. It's because of greed, hatred, delusion. It could lead one to commit evils, even to destroy the world. So that's why it's important to purify the mind, to cultivate the mind. So it's not the nuclear weapons, but greed, hatred, and delusion that are most destructive to man, to the world. Because of greed, hatred, delusions, these weapons are created in order to conquer or to destroy. So that's why it's important to purify the mind. Even in the UNESCO, I shall quote, the preamble means the preliminary introductions of the UNESCO chapters state that since wars begin in the minds of men, it's in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. So this unquote. So this preamble is no difference with the teachings of the enlightened one. But unfortunately, this is not emphasized or practiced much by the leaders of the world and so on. So if you do not wish to live with students and teachers anymore, then you must develop fully the middle path, the Noble Eightfold Path, so that you could remove completely all the 10 kinds of fetters. Similarly, you may know your progress when you live in your daily life, not only in the retreats. In your daily life, you may know your progress as you have to see with various visible objects with your eyes. You have to hear all kinds of sound, voice, and so on. So when you could practice better and better, then defilements or fetters will not be arising easily due to sense object. As I explained in one of the talks, where I mentioned about aramana anusakirisa. Defilements, those defilements are lying dormant or latent in the sense objects. If you could practice mindfulness well, or develop the Noble Eightfold Path well, you may overcome aramana anusakirisa, and eventually you could uproot the fetters or defilements completely. So we should learn to be mindful if we wish to live a happy life. Even we have not, assuming that one has not enlightened, if one could be mindful all the time, one could live a happy, peaceful life. One will not create conflicts or wars with the world. So it's important to develop this calmness or peacefulness in the inner world. When the inner world is peaceful, then the outer world will also be peaceful. So everyone has a responsibility to keep this world peaceful. So you should also encourage your friends or your relatives to develop the middle path, especially the practice of mindfulness. So everyone can make an effort to contribute to the peace of the world.